You ready over there?
Yes, sir.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Nosebleed Sports Podcast. I'm Chris Witt, and with me, as always, is Mr. Adam Schmidt. Adam, how are you today, sir?
Terrific. How about yourself?
If I was any better, I'd be you. Yeah?
Okay.
How you feeling today?
Feeling okay.
Yeah? Feeling all right? Feeling
Sure.
all right? We got a little different setup than normal, but I'm going to get myself used to it.
We've got to find a more permanent thing so that we're not moving around a whole reorganizing a whole room every time.
We need I'll tell you what we need. I need another room in my house. I think I'm going to kick one of the kids out so my wife can have her little crafting area, which is all around Adam and all around us. So the house is a little the room's a little distraught, we'll say. Distraught.
That's okay. Maybe we'll grab a corner of the other room out there. I don't know. Anyway, we'll talk about it.
Who knows? Anyway, guess what happened this weekend, man?
What?
It was the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl. That's football?
Yeah. Speaking of that, I heard a thing the other day. It said 86% or 84% of houses in Cincinnati were watching the Super Bowl. Do you think that that's true? Or what are the other 16% of households watching on Super Bowl Sunday?
I don't know what else was on, but
football's
not for everybody.
But the Super Bowl, it doesn't matter because it's it's not just about the game. It's about everything that goes around it and all the hoopla and the parties and the blah 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 blah.
It just doesn't mean anything to some people. I don't know.
Unbelievable.
It's still 84%. Does seem a little just from everything you saw, just being out watching TV around, local stuff around.
Yeah.
It seemed like 99% were.
That's what it seemed like to me. And then they also said that I think it was 130 million. They guesstimate 130 million people in the United States watch the Super Bowl. There's over 300 million people. You're telling me
I was just going to say
that more than half, that 60% of the United States did not watch the Super Bowl?
Thank you for the percentage, because no clue how many people are in the United States. So 130 million means nothing to me. Yeah. That does surprise me. That number surprises
right.
me.
That can't be right. I think they can't get it right because not every house has TVs on. A lot of people are watching things together. They'd have no idea. You name, is there anybody that didn't watch the Super Bowl?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Who? You know somebody that did not watch the Super Bowl?
At least one person that I work with, and I bet several. I'll bet I know at least a few people that didn't watch it. If I really think about everybody,
you think 6 out of 10 people that did not watch the Super Bowl?
Well, no, I mean 84% here.
That's true. That's true. Yeah,
but yeah, no. I mean, I don't know, man. I'm telling you, there are a lot of people that don't even care about sports, period. But football specifically, I mean, I know. And then there are some people that don't care about it that still do go because people have parties and that kind of thing. And it's just an event. It's just a social gathering.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to make of those numbers, but the 60% that didn't watch, if that's true, that does surprise me a little bit.
That's not right. There's no chance that's right.
I don't know.
No chance. Half the people, you could sell me on 30 to 40% didn't watch it. You could probably make an argument, but it's less than half. It's less than half that didn't watch the Super Bowl.
I don't know how they get those numbers for anything.
I don't know.
How do you?
Did you ever, when you were a kid, did you ever have to fill out? Did you ever get one of those books,
the Nielsen rating?
Nielsen ratings, where you wrote down when you changed the channel and what you watched and all the different times. Dude, I was a channel flipper, so I used to I had my little book in my room because every TV was supposed to have a book in your house, and oh man, I wrote in that book like crazy because I'd watch something for 5 minutes, flip it off, go to something different. It was a lot.
I got one like 15 years ago as an adult.
Nice.
And did it myself. Yeah.
Did you? Good. Nice work.
Never got one. I don't think we ever got one, or I at least wasn't aware of it. If
when you were little, I only remember it one time as a kid, the old Nielsen ratings.
Yeah.
All right. So the Super Bowl's here. Obviously, we're not sitting here, all hyped up and talking about it because the Bengals lost. Bengals were winning for most of the game. And, final drive, LA's final drive, they pretty much went down the field and scored, and the Bengals couldn't do anything. The second half, it was a tale of two halves for sure. The second half, the Bengals could not do anything with the ball. The field position, as soon as they scored, when they had the interception, I think it was the interception on third down, third and long at like the 50, and they went for it on fourth down. I think it was LA did, and Jesse Bates intercepts it in the end zone, and some random inactive player runs on the field. I don't know how that dude was even allowed to stay on the sidelines after that. Runs on the field. So they would have had the ball at the 20. It's a 15-yard penalty. They go half the distance to the goal. We're on the 10. And from that moment forward, something that was huge for the Bengals, huge momentum, that when that happens, it's like, oh my God, 2 plays, 2 picks. This is insane. And we are out and ready to go in the beginning of the second half. And what happens? We get that. We're back. We move back 10 yards. We're on the 10-yard line, and field position. We could never flip the field position. We could never move the ball enough. One bad punt by Huber, one good punt, still didn't matter. We were never able to flip field position, and it killed us in the second half, man. Just killed us. Our offensive line did a really good job in the first half. It's just it's a lot, man. That Rams defense is a lot.
Difference to me. Yeah. And it blew me away how well the Bengals protected Joe Burrow in the first half. I maybe their best half of the year, honestly.
Well, a lot of that's is the way they called the offense. The first 5 throws, he threw it to his first target, and that was it, man. It was drop back, boom, boom, boom. And that's the only way they were going to be able to move. And they did, and they got down, and then they got Chase free once, Higgins free once, sorry. And, the rest is history on that side of things. But so frustrating, buddy. So frustrating. Did you see the last play? Right. So Aaron Donald comes over, gets Burrow, flips him around. Burrow tries to flip it off to the side. Everybody's talking about how Jamar Chase, how Jalen, oh my gosh, Jalen Ramsey falls. He fell on that last play. Have you seen any of that?
No.
Falls down on the last play. Jamar Chase is a wide open down the field. But it was the right play. He made the right play. I think everybody's making a big deal about this, and I'd like to kind of say that I think the big deal, Jalen Ramsey would have got burned again. Burrow just had a half a second, blah, blah, blah. It's fourth down and short. Jalen Ramsey's playing bump coverage, right? He's getting up on top of him. He's doing what he's supposed to do in that case. Because we did it once where we just on third and short, we were 10 yards off the ball. For the backs. Anyway, so Jalen Ramsey goes up to bump Chase, which throws him off his route, which is all. And he knew that their offensive line or defensive line had their ears pinned back and they're going at him. So he knew he didn't have to cover Jamar Chase very long. He just had to keep him from a route, from getting in there. And then all it took was that. And by the time he was at Joe Burrow, never even saw Chase down the field, because by the time any of that happened, they're already in the backfield flipping him around, and that was the end of the game.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like that mattered that much, but
there's just a lot of people talking about, oh man, a half a second. It wasn't really a half a second. He would have needed more than that.
Yeah.
But I just like to put that to bed. That Jalen Ramsey falling on that last play, that is your defensive line and your defensive backs on the same page, knowing where they need to be. If he fell down, because it didn't matter. He did his job long enough to get somebody into the backfield.
I also heard somebody say today that Aaron Donald was offsides on that play.
Dude, that's that's so hard to tell, in the neutral zone or offsides or whatever. I don't know. Whatever. Did he get a fast? Was it a quick start? And then I don't even care about that. I haven't heard anything about that. But now, what about the penalty free game? They're letting everyone on the outside, all the receivers and defensive backs, very handsy, very aggressive. They even did a very good job, I thought the referees did, when Joe Burrow was running out of bounds and Aaron Donald pushed him and the offensive line came up and did what they always do. Got to protect their quarterback. And when that happens, they did a good job not throwing flags in that case, I think, on anybody, on retaliation, the initial point, any of that stuff.
I agree.
Because in the Super Bowl, you don't want the refs to be dictating what goes on, right? So the refs did a good job of breaking that up. There were no more incidents, so they didn't need to throw anything after that. They let them play on the outside. And then all of a sudden, in the red zone, the Bengals get 2 flags back-to-back thrown on them, basically giving LA, it was 3rd down on the first hold. And then was it the very next play got the flag for the pass interference? So that's four plays. I mean, they got 6 plays inside the 10 or inside the 20 because of the initial hold call. The second one was definitely pass interference, I think. But
the hold call was the Logan Wilson one. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I think so. I believe so. Whatever the first one was on 3rd down. It was 3rd down.
Where Cooper Kupp was like in the middle of the field and he kind of changed direction and went like to his left or whatever. And
he had one hand on him.
He grabbed his jersey.
He grabbed his jersey.
To be honest, by definition of the rule, it was. But
my point is the way the game was called all game. That's my point. I am totally listen. If they're calling it like that, then I'm in for that. That's same as in basketball, in baseball. If you're getting the outside corner all day and you strike me and you ring me up on a pitch on the outside corner, then or my kid or whatever, I have no problem with that. Mm-hmm. I have no problem with that because you've been calling it all game. But if nobody's getting the outside corner and then all of a sudden at the end of the game, because you want to speed things up or whatever else, which I'm not saying that's what happened in this. I'm just saying in the example of a baseball game. Yeah. You ring a guy up on an outside pitch. Now I got an issue, right? It hasn't been working like that all game. So that is the little thing that irritates me. That's the one thing that irritates me.
Yeah, I'm the same way. There was a game late in the season for my basketball team that it was so confusing the way they were calling the game. They were letting a ton of big time fouls go, and then they would call some little thing that I'm like. I told the officials, I'm like, I don't know how to coach my kids. I will coach around however you're calling the game. I will tell them what to do, 100%. How to adjust.
Yep.
But if you're confused about how you're calling the game, I don't know how to coach my kids to play according to how you're calling.
Yeah. You can't let my guy get mauled down low and then call every touch foul on the outside.
Perimeter, yeah.
I hate that. And you see that, and I think you see that a lot in a lot of different realms of basketball, especially when you get into the kids in the high school side of things. There's a lot of that. The ball gets down there and the kids are just moving around and you could call foul every single time.
Sure.
Okay. So you're not calling that, but that doesn't mean that, you got to make up for it on the outside where my kid just barely touches a kid as he's driving by, puts his hand on his hip, and that's a foul. Come on, man. You just let my kid get smacked across the face down low. Literally, we had a kid bleeding from his face. And no foul was called. And the next play down, we get called for a foul. We got a hand on a hip. Like, come on, man. You serious? And I'm not good with refs. Like, I can't have that conversation. I've never had. That's a good one. I'm going to use it now. I just look at them and I just go, are you serious? Come on, man. And I just big old smile on my face. They know. I know. They know. We all know. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Yeah, there's nothing. And that's the thing. You're never going to get a call to change unless another official had another call on the same play and they get together. That's the only time it ever changes. But a coach, a parent, a player is never going to, after a call was made, is never going to get them to change a call. But going back to the game, the biggest thing for me was I don't want to even listen to Bengals fans because they're all going to be biased, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yep.
When Tony Dungy speaks out about how poorly the game was officiated, wow, that is really something.
I didn't hear that. What did Tony Dungy have to
exactly say? What
just talking about the end of that play at the end of the game.
You can't call it all game and let everything go and then make calls like that. There was way more stuff. The most clear, egregious call in the game,
face mask down the field,
just grabbed his face mask, turned him around and pulled him through, directly led to a touchdown on that play.
Absolutely.
How is that? I mean, I was almost yelling at the TV. How do you not call that? And
Yeah.
I'm rooting for the Bengals.
Yep.
I'm like, that was so bad to miss that one.
Yeah.
And that, like I said, led directly to, if they call that, maybe the Bengals don't score. Maybe they're not even, in the position at the end of the game.
But that was my point when that happened. Everybody was like, "Oh man, they missed that." We had a lot of people at the house saying that, and I was like, "Look, man, they're not calling anything. Like there's nothing being called anywhere. And if you watch these guys run down the field, there's a lot of hands, a lot of pushing, a lot of shoving. They're letting them be aggressive, which I would rather that. I like that. That feels like football to me, right? I don't want the Super Bowl to be 64-56. You know what I mean? I want the Super Bowl to be close. I want the defense to be able to play defense, and I kind of enjoy that now and that. You rip somebody's face mask off.
That's different.
That's different. But
Hand
if you look,
stuff is different.
but if you look where the umpire was on that, the umpire referee was, oh, maybe he is an umpire. They have umpires.
Yeah.
If side judges or they're called all kinds of stuff, right? You've got judges, referees, and umpires out on the field for football. But anyway,
the judges are the ones that sentence you to the penalty.
Yeah. The line judge is going to sentence you. So anyway, the ref on that call, if you see where he is, he can't see. He wasn't in a position to see. He was shielded by the Bengal player. So I don't think he could have seen the actual motion and the grabbing of the face mask from the sideline where he was at, and from the angle where when they showed the replay, when you see that ref, it happens here. And I feel like he was shielded from it. So I can see how he missed it. Once again, I mean, I can see how he missed it. I think that would have been called if he would have saw it correctly.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to believe that he would miss something that, I mean, maybe
it is, but you know how that works. You know how that works.
Yeah, and that in that fast motion, I don't know how.
It wasn't like he grabbed him in front of him. It was like a twisted back behind kind of a thing. Like it wasn't a natural movement. Was it Higgins? Who was it?
I think it was the Higgins, yeah.
And it wasn't a natural movement the way it happened. He was like running, and it was almost like he grabbed him from behind on his face mask, not in front. In front, he would have seen it, but because it was back here, I think it was difficult to see.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's beside the point. Bengals lost the daggone game, man.
And they did. It was, the officiating was a little bit confusing, but you probably can't say. And look, a lot of people actually, even analysts and former pros, came out and said that Logan Wilson call was not a hold. I kind of disagree, but it was.
Did it change his momentum? Did it change his direction? Because he still made the cut and still made the move.
Yeah, but the ball was coming. He had a handful of jersey, and it's just hard. I mean, it's hard because of the way the game was officiated all game. Exactly what we're talking about. But I don't know.
Either way, here's the deal. The Bengals were in a game that no one thought they would be in this year, last year, 2 years ago, anything. You like to think that they've got $58 million in cap room right now. Their two best offensive players are on their rookie deals. And, I don't know who all is a free agent and how all that is going to go down. But, obviously, we've been talking about it for 4 years now. 3 years, like 4 years. They need to get this offensive line taken care of. Mm-hmm. It's hard to go after free agents in Cincinnati because nobody wants to play in Cincinnati. There's no indoor facilities. The actual facilities in the stadium, the way I understand it, are just horrible. You know what I mean? They're not horrible. You don't have all the same things that the other teams have. You know what I mean? Carson Palmer said it best. I know everybody hates Carson Palmer, but he was talking and he was like, look, here's the deal, man. When I left, you go to Arizona and all of a sudden there's an acupuncturist over in this corner of the locker room. There's a, what do you call it? There's a masseuse over in this corner. There's this, bar that's got all these different juices and drinks to help you do it. There's nothing in the Cincinnati locker room except a couple trainers tables to tape you up. You know what I mean? So, it's a high school locker room in a professional setting. So what changes that? Obviously you can put all that stuff in, or you get a guy on your team that people see what he can do and want to play for him. The only thing we have for going after free agents right now is to fly a guy in, take him to Jeff Ruby's, and make sure Joe Burrow's at the meeting. That's all you got. I mean, there's a reason we don't get big time free agent linemen in this city.
Yeah, he definitely is a big help. But you know what? Everybody's in love with him, and I get it. He's not the only guy, though. I don't think. I mean, I think you have as good a receiving core as just about anybody else in the league. I think you have a defense that played way over what I expected for sure, and the adjustments that they made during games a lot of times were fantastic.
But what I'm saying is, if you're an offensive lineman, you can go to a really good team that has nothing, like the rest of the organizations, has a bad name, that they suck, the facilities suck, but they're a good team, because that's what the Bengals were this year. They were a good team, and something special happened, and they made a run. I'm not saying Joe Burrow did it all, because I mean, some of the games, I mean, it was all defense. A lot of those games were because of the defense. But Joe Burrow did what he needed to do. No interceptions. He's thrown, when he needs to make plays, he gets down, drives down, we make plays. It's the poise, it's the aura that comes off of him as a second-year quarterback, right? He's special. Mm-hmm. And that is what will drive offensive linemen. They don't care if your defense is great and you got a few weapons. If they don't think that they have the quarterback that they're blocking for that's going to get them to the Super Bowl, then they don't care. They're going to go somewhere else. But if you have a guy that got a team to a Super Bowl being sacked in two games, one game, not 4 games, one game 9 sacks, one game 7 sacks. You know what I mean? And I know I made a big deal about the 2 and 1 in between them, but it's a big deal when you get sacked 9 and 7, right? That's what you have to see that he got us to the Super Bowl, and we were winning with 5 minutes left to go, 4 minutes left to go in the game. I think we got a better opportunity at free agents because of that.
I totally agree. And I think it's just as much just the fact that you got to the Super Bowl than who got you there even. I mean, yes, I totally agree that you are going to be more willing to sign with the Bengals now because Joe Burrow's there than if the same team got there with Andy Dalton or anybody else, Yes, I agree with that. But, the fact that they got there with one of the worst offensive lines in the league really says something. If you're one of the better offensive linemen and your contract is up, you're like, I know I can help that team a lot.
Yeah.
If I go there, Jonah Williams isn't bad, and we get maybe another guy.
All you need, listen, if you get 2 great offensive linemen and 3 average offensive linemen, you're set. If you get 3 good ones and 2 average ones, you're set with this team. The problem is we had 1 good one and 5 mediocre. What team goes to the Super Bowl and is rotating in guard, guard? Come on, man. I
wonder how Anthony Munoz feels. I wonder if he's feels like he's in shape. I wonder if he could.
Let's get him and Max Montoya back out here.
Yeah. I mean,
what are they, 60?
I mean, probably more than that.
No, it wouldn't be more than that. They were in the Super Bowl 31 years ago. So they would have had to be, I mean, maybe, right. I mean, but they'd be right at that 60 age, 50, probably 55 to 62, somewhere in there.
Yeah. I would bet. Yeah, I would bet right around 60.
Yeah.
You're right. Yep.
They can play. If Brady can play, they can play.
Sure. It's like they're like 15 years older than Tom Brady.
Exactly.
Weird.
That's legit correct, by the way. That's insane. Wow, Tom Brady's old as dirt. And now Tom Brady's talking, he's leaving himself open to go somewhere. That's the talk now. Is Tom Brady going to go to San Francisco? Like, come on, man. This is so crazy and ridiculous. It's not even funny. Tommy, dude, hang it up. You've had an amazing career. I know it's hard to say I'm officially done. There's always things there, but bud, you had nothing left to prove.
Yeah. Yep. That's fine. I'm good with him staying retired. It's time for Joe Burrow to be the best, the face of the NFL. And even if he lost, let me ask you this: if the Bengals would have held on, if the defense would have stopped him, or if they would have scored at the end of the game and they won, who was your MVP from the Bengals?
So they would have had to make, because it was coming down to that drive, it would have had to been Joe Burrow, unless it was like he lit up T. Higgins. because Higgins was the only offensive guy that had a chance at overtaking that MVP because of the way he played. So if he threw that last touchdown to T. Higgins, maybe T. Higgins had 30 of the 60 yards on the drive, then probably T. Higgins. But did you hear this? So listen to this. I heard this today. So everybody's, Cooper Kupp had an amazing game, and that final drive was absolutely amazing and all that stuff. But Aaron Donald, I mean, come on, Aaron Donald was the MVP of that game. Without Aaron Donald, that doesn't happen, right? The 2 sacks, especially right at the end, and then 2 more where he had him in his arms, and then one of them he had him in the arms, and somebody else got the sack because he fell off of him. The other one, he literally just spun Joe Burrow around the very last play of the game. It's not a sack, but that's it. There's a select few, I think it's 11 or 16 sports writers that vote. They're in the press box that vote on the MVP. They have to have their vote in by the 2-minute warning. How in God's name does that make any sense at all? It doesn't make any sense to me. You have 60 minutes of football. The most important 2 minutes are the last 2 minutes. That's when things happen.
Yeah, but it's got to be your body of work over the whole game, though. I mean,
of course it is. But if you've got 2 guys that have had the body of work that those 2 did, the best defensive player on that team that made every play when it was needed, the best offensive player that made all the plays when it was needed, but in the last 2 minutes, what was the guy who was the most key in that game? It was Aaron Donald on defense.
I kind of disagree. I think Cooper Kupp was the clear MVP of that game. I feel like
gave it to
he was fantastic the whole game. Aaron Donald, especially because the Bengals offensive line did such a good job in the first half, and he got rid of the ball a little quicker and that kind of thing. Aaron Donald, I wasn't that worried about him in the first half. I mean, after it looked like they had figured something out, how to not let him into the backfield every single play like I expected. Yeah. It just felt like Cooper Kupp from beginning to end had the better game. I was fine with that.
Okay, that sounds good.
I wasn't.
Who would you have given the MVP to if the Bengals went down and won?
I'll tell you, maybe Logan Wilson. I don't know what his final numbers were, how many tackles or anything he had, but the plays that he made, that dude is, and the whole defense is like this. And I feel like this is the best tackling Bengals defense I've seen in a really long time. And he is as good as anybody I've seen tackle.
Yeah.
He does not give up yards after a catch if he gives up a catch. I mean, that dude tackles so well. He gets in the backfield sometimes when he's blitzing. He really impressed me in that game. And unfortunately, he had the penalty late in the game, but that's still controversial, I guess.
Sure,
for some people. So it might have been him. I don't know. It would have been so easy to give it. It would have gone to Joe Burrow.
You think so, or you think it would have gone to Higgins? I think it depends on how the end of that game goes. See, and then once again, though, but does that even matter? Because apparently they got to have it in before that. So
yeah, I mean, I think if you weren't good enough for the first 58 minutes and then you make a play at the end,
I'm not talking about just making a play and you're the MVP. I'm talking about having a couple guys that had really great games and you got to choose between the 2. But in the last 2 minutes in crunch time, the biggest play, yeah, that can easily push somebody over the top. Maybe. How you've got 11 or 16, I can't remember how many sports writers they said it was when I heard that today. You're telling me that you can't have those guys make their pick at the very end of the game because you've got to say it down to Joe or whoever. There's 11 of you. You know how fast I can count those up and figure out who the MVP is? That is so easy. You could have 5 minutes after the game. By the time they're all done cheering and getting down there and they're giving the trophy to somebody, you got 10 minutes after the game. Why? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
Mike Greenberg was talking about that today.
Interesting.
Anyway, where were you watching the game at, bub?
I watched the game at my house, and it was just myself and my dad, because that day took me all day long up until like 30 minutes before the game started, maybe 20 minutes before the game started, to get my new couch and my new TV that I bought that day put in and fired up.
Comfy, cozy. Were you good? Is it as comfy as you thought it was? Did you go to a store, sit on the couch and say, this is the couch I want? Or did you find it online and order it?
I went to the store.
Good for you, bud.
Good for you. I started looking online a while ago spent like 2 hours one night looking at couches online. Took all these notes. I can show
I
them in
believe
my
it.
phone.
Yep.
Took all these notes, all these dimensions and everything, and then was like, well, and then I went to the store that I was looking online for. Didn't have nearly the selection
Of
in the
course not.
store.
Of course not.
So I ended up going to like 6 different places.
Wow.
I hate spending money, hate making big purchases. I can't commit to anything. You know that about me. Buying a new couch is very hard for me, but I had to force myself to I had my mindset on it. I was going to get it that day. I'm like, you're picking a couch today. And I forced myself. I still went to a lot of places, but I found one. I'm like, once I was like, I just got to make a decision. Let's do this one. Let's do it. I bought it at the store. Actually had to go across town to get it at their warehouse. But anyway, did that, went to Target, because my TV the week before went out. So I didn't have a TV to watch. Geez. So stopped at Target, went to 3 Targets actually, because the one I was going to get, 2 of them didn't have it.
Wow.
Went to a 3rd Target, ended up buying a different one than I thought I was going to get at that 3rd Target. So anyway.
What size TV did you get?
55.
55 or nice.
Biggest one I've ever owned.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well done, bud.
Yeah. A lot of people were like 55.
TVs are so ridiculous now.
I know, that's the thing. I was
so stupid how the sizes and the prices are not that bad.
I know,
for huge TVs. So I bought our first 55-inch TV at our old house, had it down in the basement. It was a plasma. The thing's 1,000 pounds. And it costs more than the two big TVs I have in my house right now combined.
Yep.
And those 2 TVs, one's like 65 and one's 70. Like when we had the 55, I'm like, hey, I don't know if there's another man in this world who their wife had to talk into getting a bigger TV. I'm like, no, this is plenty big enough. We do not need anything bigger than this. But they're so cheap what? I can't believe I have to talk you into getting a bigger TV. Yeah, you do, because this is ridiculous. But the point is they got 2 TVs for the price I paid for a plasma 12 years ago. It's ridiculous.
The first flat screen TV I bought at Best Buy. I made payments on it because it was like $1,200.
Yep.
I bought a 55-inch. That was like a 27-inch maybe, or something like that. Maybe a 32.
Yeah.
This is a 55. I got it for like $400.
Yep. It's insane.
I got it for a third of the price.
So crazy. So crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, it was, the couch was good. It's much bigger couch than I had before. The other couch was like 10 or 12 years old or something like that. Got the new TV. I'm feeling good about it. I can actually fit all the way across this couch when I lay.
Nice. That's the way to do it right there.
Yeah.
No feet hanging off the end.
Nope. I don't have to curl up on it.
Is it just a couch, or does it have the little L shape on it?
No, I didn't get one of those because that doesn't fit my room properly.
Right. Yeah.
So I had to get a standard couch, but I got a much bigger one than I had before.
Nice. And
it's brand new. Anyway, so you went to your parents' house. You had
the annual Paul Witt Super Bowl party, first one without Paul Witt, which was a bummer because the Bengals were in it. And I really thought it was going to happen for the old boy, man. I really did. I was in and out of emotions all game because my mom printed off a whole bunch of Paul Witt pictures, and they're all over the house. She put 2 of them right next to each other when me and Paul painted our faces for the Carson Palmer Pittsburgh game, and from when me and Paul painted our faces together for the '88 Super Bowl game.
Oh, wow.
So those are next to each other.
Is that a black and white or a sepia tone picture?
No, but she blew them all up. There's 8x10s all over the house of Paul Witt and Bengals gear. So the whole time, there's one right next. Your brother sat across from me. We sat outside. We put a tent up and had a little fire going, and it was actually warm compared to how freezing cold it was outside of that tent. We had sides up on it and everything. Anyway, he was sitting across from me, and there's a Paul Witt picture right next to him. And every time I looked straight up, there it was. And I know everybody was probably like seeing me every now and then get a little. But anyway,
totally understand.
That's what we did. Same thing we always do. Giant party. Had family come in from Pennsylvania, Bengals fans. We had there was a good amount of people there. Did the Super Bowl squares like we always do. My son won twice. He hit halftime in the end in the final score.
Twice.
Yep. So yeah, whoever, I mean, if you do end a game, however you do it, there was, I think the end of the second quarter and the end of the game were the same, was 3-0 for both. So he won twice. So he got $50 up in his room now. He's all excited about it, even though I put all the single dollar bills in with his name on them, but that's all right. I don't want any of my money back. Go. So it was good. There were plenty of food, all that stuff. Just the funny thing about watching the game there is my dad has 5 or 6 TVs with the game on all over the house. Well, everything's streaming now, right? So none of the TVs are in unison. None of them are. Mm-hmm. The TV that was the furthest ahead was in the kitchen and was like a 12-inch TV. And every other TV in the house is a big screen TV. We had one outside. We had one in the family room. We had one in the living room. And then we had this little tiny itty bitty thing in the kitchen. So next, when there's a minute and a half left and 4 minutes left and they start driving down, I was like, I can't sit in here. If something happens, I can see the kitchen. I can see the few people that are in the kitchen watching the game. We got a bunch of people outside. Next thing I know, we're all in the kitchen. I bet there was 15 to 20 people in the kitchen watching a 12. I'm not kidding you. It's 12-inch screen. It's an iPad big. It was a little bit bigger than an iPad.
Okay.
And we're all watching the end of the game in there, poking heads around people, trying to make the big people stay in the back so they can see. It's the most ridiculous way to watch the end of a game in my entire life.
That reminds me of that. It felt like a 4-inch TV, little black and white TV that you had in your room.
Yeah, I think it was. I think 4-inch might be what it was. I used to love that thing, man. Watch ECW like crazy on that thing.
That's funny.
Oh man.
Okay, so we talked about the game. We talked about where we watched it, what we did. Last thing for the Super Bowl, we were both fairly excited about who the acts were for the Super Bowl because we grew up listening to Dr. Dre and Snoop and those guys. How did you feel that went? How did you feel about the halftime show?
Do you want to rate it? You want to rate it 1 to 10?
Sure.
Let's rate it 1 to 10. But I want you to go. Well, no, I'm going to write my rating down.
Okay.
And then I want you to write 1 down.
Okay.
And we'll say it at the same time.
Might have to borrow your pen.
Okay. So I'll write mine down. I'm going to tell you, man, it got big hype everywhere. There's a lot of people, loving it. But there's some people that as soon as something like that comes on, they just, because it's their people and the stuff they grew up with, they just automatically 10. This is the greatest Super Bowl halftime show ever.
Absolutely.
I'm going to tell you this. When Mary J. Blige came out and she started bending her knees, and like I looked at my wife, she was sitting next to me. I said, oh my God, Mary's going to fall. She is going to fall. And sure enough, the end of it, I mean, it was on purpose, but on the very end of those songs that she did, she falls backwards and lays down on the ground. And I was like, I told you she was going to fall, girl. Old girl ain't got the knees she used to. She ain't quite got them Mag Thee Stallion knees. You know what I'm saying? Not quite. All right. So on the count of 3, what'd you rate it? 1, 2, 3.
5.
8. Wow. 5. I think I was closer to saying a 7, but I put 8 just because I enjoyed the songs. I still like the songs. So, but dude, I'm with it. I kind of agree. It wasn't, like J-Lo and what's her name? Shakira. I like that. That was a show, man. Yeah. And then Lady Gaga, that was a good one. I think those were shows. Like this was, it was cool. You see snooping on him out there. I love it, but it just seemed like, I don't know.
See, I liked the simpler thing like that.
Yeah.
Over the big,
I like the big craziness.
Rappelling from the top of the dome or whatever. Yeah. Doing that kind of stuff and like big elaborate costumes and all that kind of I don't need that stuff.
All right. So you like that better.
And number 1, I don't need a 45-minute halftime. Just do a regular halftime. Pick a person, have them do their 3 best songs or 2 best songs. Let's get on with the game. That's how I feel about it. But even when there are people that I like, Prince a long time ago was pretty good. And
Purple Rain in the Rain. You can't beat that, right?
Right. And who was it a few years ago? dance guy that dances kind of like the new
Bruno,
Usher,
Bruno
Mars.
Mars,
Bruno
man,
Mars
that was good.
It was good. And this was I was a bigger fan of these guys from this year than any of those people. So, I was kind of excited about it, but I was like, I mentioned this last week. It's always way overdone, like way over the top. And I don't need that. I know for most people, it's like, they like that, but I don't need the pageantry. I don't need all the extra stuff. Do your songs, be on a stage. We don't need to set up like all these props and
You're such an old man.
I guess, but man, why? I mean, why does
Is that the
need
only
to be part
reason
of
that
it?
you didn't like it because of
No.
because of the cars
No.
and the
There ended up being 6 people or whatever, and they're jumping around between songs. They're not doing the whole song. They just like jumping between songs and like transitioning into the next one. And then suddenly nobody knew he was going to be there. 50 Cent is hanging upside down like a bat, like a fat bat.
everybody talking about how fat 50 was. Everybody talking about how fat 50 is.
I mean, he was like all ripped and stuff a long time ago, but I think
old boy still ripped. He might have a little bit bigger face or whatnot, but I think old boy still cut up.
He's big and strong still, I guess. But I don't know. That was weird. I didn't like. There was already more people. Kendrick Lamar, no matter how you feel about him, didn't belong in that. He's a newer act.
Yeah, still kind of confused on the Kendrick Lamar thing. He's from New York though, isn't he? I mean, like, what are you trying to do, right? Are you trying to do like a death row thing? Are you trying to do what are you trying to do? Because no matter what you're doing, Kendrick Lamar doesn't fit into that circle of things. Although I like Ken, I think he's actually pretty good.
Dr. Dre, Snoop, Eminem, Ice Cube. Those are the 4. If you're doing 4 people, which is still too many, but they have done enough songs together that they can do 2 or 3 songs together, do the whole thing, come out and do it however you want, but you don't have to make it. You don't have to have a train of trailer parks or whatever that thing was. That was, I don't even know what it was.
Just a bunch of apartments or house parties. Everybody having a house party.
But just do what it. The lineup didn't completely make sense, and then I didn't need like half the song transition to another person's song transition to another song. It's just they try to pack too much in.
Yeah. I mean, originally the whole, like, if you look at what the show is, it was Snoop, it was Dr. Dre, and Mary J. Blige. That's what the halftime show was, featuring Kendrick Lamar and Eminem. So I could see like doing those 3, and then, but you'd have to have something that they could feature in, right? Like Eminem's got probably the most iconic song that Dr. Dre has now, with "Don't Forget About Dre," right? So maybe you do that let him do his little feature, but maybe just make that it. I'll be okay with that. The Kendrick Lamar thing never made sense to me from the beginning. I love Mary J. Blige. She could have picked a better second song, I think, than
I don't even remember.
It was just real slow, and I don't even remember what it was. Anyway, I mean, the songs never. I'm always confused on how they pick the songs, and why is 50 there? Why'd 50 show up? I'm in. Look, I love 50 Cent. And he got a couple songs out of it. You know what I mean? He's in the club. What else did he do? He did 2 of them. I can't remember what they were, but I don't know. I would have loved for it if you're gonna do like you said with those 4. If we kick Mary out and we kick Kendrick Lamar out, Ice Cube would have been good. Ice Cube would have been good.
50's got to go.
50. Too. Well, yeah, 50 wasn't even supposed to be there to begin with. I would have been okay if 50 was, if you made him the 4th. He did enough with those guys to come up with something. Or I mean, Exhibit, you could have had some you could have got fun with it, right? Made it 3 and then have 2 features with Eminem and like an Exhibit or I don't know, something different. But either way, I'm happy. I still liked it. I was still bobbing and weaving.
Okay. All right. It was okay. But anyway, all right, that's it for that. Anything else on the Super Bowl?
No, I got nothing else to say about the Super Bowl.
All right, then we need to talk about something that for some people probably in Cincinnati flew under the radar last week, which was the trade deadline in the NBA. And the biggest trade, there were some pretty decent sized trades, but the clear biggest one was the James Harden, Ben Simmons trade between Philadelphia and Brooklyn.
Yes.
Brooklyn gets James Harden and Paul Millsap. No, sorry. Philadelphia gets James Harden and Paul Millsap. Philadelphia gets Ben Simmons. I did it again. Brooklyn gets Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and 2 first-round draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
It all came out since then that James Harden was unhappy in Brooklyn.
I mean, it kind of sounded like he was before that anyway. He had some things. There was some reports that he got all pissed off. He goes, reports. I didn't report it. If I didn't report it, it's not a report. Well, come on, man. We all know that you do and say things that people hear, and that's the report. So I think he had been unhappy there for a minute.
Yeah, and from what I understand, he was unhappy with their offense. He disagreed. From what I saw, Durant and Steve Nash were kind of on the same page about wanting like a free-flowing offense, which to me means like more ball movement and stuff. Kevin Durant's still going to get 28 shots a game or whatever. But James Harden thought kind of more ISO basketball made more sense for them.
Well, that's because that's his game. I mean, that's right. And I also think James Harden went to Brooklyn thinking, I'm tired of being the guy that's got to do it all. I'm 32, 33 years. I'm getting a little older here. I'm known for being slightly out of shape every now and then. Look, why do I got to do it all the time? Let me come here where I've got KD and Kyrie. Let me go over here where I can kind of be the third fiddle, second fiddle someday. First, I can kind of play when I need to play, and I can rest through part of the season instead of having to be so dominant. What happens? Kyrie can't play in New York, which we can talk about that too. I just found out some weird things about that I didn't know. Kyrie can't play home games because of COVID. KD gets hurt again, and now Harden's got to do it all. When they start losing, all of a sudden it's like, old boy's not ready. Old boy wasn't in for this. That's not what I paid for. It's not what I came over here for. So I think that has a little bit to do with it too.
Yeah, I think look, every time James Harden is involved and a couple other guys are involved in a trade like that, where they're going to go play with other stars, that's always the question. How are they going to be able to mix? You have 3 of the best scorers in the league. How are they all going to get enough shots? How are they going to distribute the ball? How are they going to run their offense? And James Harden has had trouble in the past with other stars, playing with other stars for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Happened again. And it seemed like he got out of shape again. There have been more reports that he is still just like living the nightlife all the time.
Yep.
Every city, he's got to hit the strip club. He's like the king of that. He's known around the league for that. And that's the way he wants. It seems
he's
like
got
that's
his
the way
jersey retired in a strip club.
I forgot about that, but I remember hearing that. Sure he does. I'm sure he loves playing in Atlanta.
Yeah,
it's big there, I hear.
Yeah.
Here. But anyway, he also plays in New York. I'm sure there are plenty of them there.
Oh yeah.
So he's not known for being a tireless worker. He's not known for being in the weight room. He's not known for taking care of his body. And it showed the last 2 years that happened. Same thing happened in Houston before he got traded there. He kind of pretty clearly gave up on that team.
Yep.
And he did the same thing again this year. And 2 teams in 2 years that he's done that with. So now Joel Embiid has established himself as an MVP candidate. He's putting up 40 points on, every third game or something like that. And he is playing the best basketball of his life. So now adding James Harden to that, to me, is going to drastically change how you have to play, I think. I don't know that Joel Embiid is going to get the ball how he gets it now, is going to be able to dictate the offense and have the offense go through him. It might start with James Harden, and James Harden is one of the better distributors in the game. He can be that player, and he's also very dangerous with the way he scores. But he's got to be happy. If he's not happy, it's not going to work.
100%. Well, and they got to be winning. That's a big thing. They went on the Nets went on an 11-game losing streak, and that's the thing for certain guys. If they're not winning, and then they're unhappy, and when they're unhappy, they are difficult to deal with.
Both of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I that's exactly what happened. Now he's going to go there, and they're going to win. I think they'll win. I don't think it's going to be hard not to. They're still very good. But I think that's the reason he went to New York, was to be a distributor. That's what I was saying earlier. Like, I think when he went to Brooklyn, he was probably thinking, man, I could get 20 assists a game, sit back, distribute the ball. I'll get my ISO and I'll drop my, 25 here and there. But I could do it. But he never got to play with all the three of them. Only played something like 48 minutes or something like that together. That's it. That is it. Almost 3/4 of the NBA season is done.
Yeah.
Or 70%, whatever it is.
It's a little more than half.
It's a little more than half. But, dude, that is not a lot of time. Yeah. So everything he was sold on, everything he wanted to go there for, it wasn't happening. They lost 11 straight games.
But it's been half a season. I mean,
it's more than half a season. What's the record?
A little bit. I mean,
I think it's more than
the All-Star game is this weekend.
But the All-Star game is always late.
It's just past half the season.
How many games they play? 82 or 86? What is it? 82. 82 games. All right. So if that's the case, and they're only halfway through, then you say, well, that's kind of a bummer. They're acting like that. But the Rockets right now, just going to the very first team, the Rockets have played 56 games.
Okay.
So if you take 56 and divide it by 82, that's 68% of the games. That's almost 70% of the season is gone.
Okay.
That's a lot of the season.
All
I'm saying is you're not going to get him happy again.
But it's 58 games. I mean,
he's still not going to be able to play with Kyrie half the time.
Sure. But this is the first year of this. I mean, this is the first year where all three of these guys are together. He can't hang in and see when that does happen. When, next year the mandates might be different or whatever. Kyrie's definitely not getting the vaccine, so that's not going to change. But the mandates might be different. He might be able to play in New York at that time. Then KD theoretically will not be hurt at that time. He could still come back and play plenty of games this year too. When you have Kevin Durant on the floor, he's like LeBron, almost no matter what you have, at least in their primes, you're going to be a good team.
The problem is we're talking about James Harden. We're not talking about Adam Schmidt being on that team. Adam Schmidt can see the bigger picture. James Harden is right now all for me kind of cat. And he's done. When he's done, we just said it. When that dude is unhappy, he's done. He's done. Burn the bridges, all that good stuff. Adios, amigos.
And it could be very exciting to see if it works out there.
Joel Embiid, if he starts acting like that, dude, Embiid will straight just look at him and be like, listen, you fat son of a bitch. You better get your act. Listen, you fat boy, you better get your act together. I can't. It's too much. That was too much.
Bad, Embiid.
It was too much. I can't tone it down.
That's not too bad.
Yeah.
His English is getting pretty good.
It's very good.
Yeah. But anyway.
Can I ask you a question about this whole thing?
Sure.
Why is it? How does this make sense? Adam Silver was talking about this the other day, and he's kind of upset. I'm going out with this?
Maybe. I don't know.
Adam Silver was on talking to somebody. He's kind of disappointed in the Nets. I don't know if it was the Nets or New York or what, but if you play for the Brooklyn Nets and you don't have a vaccine, you can't play home games.
Right.
If you are a visiting team and you have a player that is not vaccinated, he's allowed to play.
Huh?
Yeah. Does that make sense? I just found all this. I just heard this yesterday. Stephen A. Smith's talking about it. All these people were talking about it. Adam Silver said something about it. New York is allowing other teams, if you're not vaccinated and you got a guy on that team, they can come into the city and play. However, the Brooklyn Nets, or I don't know if it's Brooklyn. I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but Kyrie cannot.
So is he disappointed that they're not allowing Kyrie to, or is he disappointed that
He's
they're
disappointed that they're having a hypocrisy like this. I think he would be okay either way. He's disappointed that they're allowing it to be like this because what does it do? It makes you look stupid.
Yeah, that's very strange.
It makes you look like an idiot when that's how you do things.
Wow. I gotta listen to that.
Look it up. Find it. It was this morning on what is the thing that he does where he argues with somebody because he was arguing with that dingbat from Major League Baseball MLB TV.
Not Adam Silver. Somebody else, I mean.
No, I'm talking about Stephen A. was talking about. But you can find Adam Silver too. I don't know who he was talking to, but Adam Silver, I mean, he came out and was talking about it.
I did see a link to that video, but I haven't watched it yet. The other side of this thing, the Brooklyn Nets side now. James Harden's out of there. Don't care about him anymore. You have Ben Simmons, who hasn't played yet this year because of mental health things.
Mm-hmm.
There's no ETA on when he's going to be playing for the Nets. Nobody knows that yet, but he's apparently, seeing his therapist, and he's going to be happier with them because a lot of it had to do with Philadelphia and the things that were said from Doc Rivers and Joel Embiid and all the fans and the media and everything in Philadelphia after those playoff games that he performed very poorly in last year. So he's getting a new opportunity. He's getting a new chance. Hopefully this will be a breath of fresh air for him, and he can get mentally healthy enough to feel comfortable playing basketball again.
Right.
Once he does that, hopefully it'll be soon because this trade isn't going to matter for him this year if it doesn't. If that's the case, then this is a guy that will, number one, be a way better defender than James Harden was. Not nearly the scorer, not a shooter at all, but a pretty good distributor, and can start your offense for you, can finish around the rim, super athletic at this point, far more athletic than James Harden, and he'll be willing to get other guys involved in where he doesn't need shots and all that kind of stuff. Now, they also got Seth Curry, who's one of the best shooters in the league. And they got Andre Drummond, who doesn't play nearly the minutes that he used to, but is still one of the best rebounders in the game. He had a couple games early in the season, actually a couple weeks of games early in the season that he played more minutes. I think Embiid was out or they were easing him into it or something like that. And he played more minutes, and his per 36 rebounds were like 17 a game or something like that. I mean, he's still one of the best rebounders and one of the best offensive rebounders in the game. He's not going to have to go there and play 35 minutes a game. He won't. But he will go out there and rebound the heck out of the ball and be a presence in the middle. He's a 0 on offense. All right. You're getting 2 zeros on offense here. But you're way better defensively now. And you added one of the best shooters in the whole league to go along with Patty Mills and Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving when they're playing.
Neither of those two are playing right now. So
not right now. But Kyrie on the road, and
they still have they're like 7th or what are they, 8th in the East now?
Yeah, they dropped quite a bit.
Yeah.
They're which brings me to another point that I'll get to in a second. But to me, and I want to hear your take on this. To me, maybe not by a ton, but I think by a little bit. Brooklyn got the better end of the deal here.
I would say I'm going to disagree with you for the exact points that you just made, because they're not getting offense in return. And for 11, 12 games in a row so far, James Harden was the only offense they hit. They're getting Seth Curry, but Seth Curry needs someone else to get him the ball. Seth Curry could be a point. He could do that, but he's not going to create his own shots and create for himself, right? Because you need that spread of the floor so somebody can create and kick. So I don't agree with that, because you still don't have Kyrie at home games. You don't have Kevin Durant right now. And I mean, KD's been getting hurt here, a little bit more often all the time. So you're losing a big part of that big three, the one that actually played for you the entire season. You're missing. He's gone. On the flip side, in Detroit, what did you get rid of? You got rid of Seth Curry, right? So Seth Curry,
Philadelphia.
Sorry, what did I say?
Detroit.
Whatever, Philadelphia. Philadelphia, you lose Seth Curry, his 3-point shooting. You lose Andre Drummond inside. I'd have to look at their roster to see who their next big guy is or anything like that. You're getting 2 picks. Right? Is that the one they're getting 2 picks? No.
Yeah. Brooklyn got 2.
Brooklyn's getting
They're getting the 2022 first round pick and a 2027 protected first round pick.
Either way, the guy that you got rid of, the main player in this whole thing, has not played even at all for you. So you're not losing out on anything in that case. You basically just traded Paul Millsap and not Paul Millsap. Who are the guys that left Philly? Help me out here.
It was Paul Millsap and James Harden.
No, that left Philly.
Oh, it was
Andre Drummond.
Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, Ben Simmons.
So you lose on you're trading Andre Drummond and Seth Curry for James Harden, Paul Millsap. That's the trade. I'd take that in a heartbeat. Because Ben Simmons isn't in that trade. Ben Simmons doesn't play for you. But so you're getting the better end of that deal.
He hasn't played yet.
He wasn't going. You think Ben Simmons would just? You think at some point in time Ben Simmons was going to play for Philadelphia this year?
Oh no! I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Brooklyn.
No, I'm saying I think if you're Philadelphia, you got the better end of the deal because you just got rid of. You traded Seth Curry and Andre Drummond. You traded those 2 players for James Harden and Paul Millsap. Tell me who wins that trade? Two for 2 right there. That's a better trade. Who's the team that's getting James Harden?
On Brooklyn's end, though, you are getting rid of a guy who was causing problems on the team.
Same exact thing you're getting rid of in Philly.
Sure, but that was actively Ben Simmons wasn't there. He wasn't even there.
That's my point.
But James Harden was causing a problem every day on your team, and he was there. He was in it.
And they couldn't win with him when he was dropping 30 a night, 28 a night. And you
still have a good roster even without those 2 guys.
I think your Philadelphia becomes a better team right now. They're already the best team in the East right now.
I'll give you this. Maybe immediately.
That's what I'm talking. This is all about this year. This is about Philly getting a chip. This has nothing to do with them thinking that James Harden is their future. James Harden's going to be gone as soon as he's a free agent. They don't care about him. Isn't he a free agent next year? Isn't James Harden a free agent after this year?
I'd have to look that up.
And sure. They don't care about that. It is immediate for them. This is their opportunity. This is their chance. Joel Embiid is playing the best basketball of his life.
That may be the case. I'll be honest with you. If it works out that, and this was what I was going to say earlier that I'll get to, is what would be a dream thing is for these 2 to match up in the playoffs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And Ben Simmons is playing at that point. Kevin Durant is healthy at that point, and Kyrie Irving can play in Philadelphia.
Yeah. I know where you're going to go now when we were talking about if they're 7th or 8th or where they're at in the East.
If that's the case,
that means you get Kyrie Irving for more games than you would if you're the home team.
Well, it does mean that, but I believe their roster top to bottom is better. Maybe just a little bit, because it is a miracle that
we still don't know if Ben Simmons is ever even going to play this season.
That's right. We don't, but it sounds like he probably is. And here's the thing. That's what I was going to say is immediately it might be better for the Sixers. For next year, I think it's better for the Brooklyn Nets.
Sure. Yeah, I'm fine with
Even
that.
if James Harden is still there next year in Philadelphia.
I'm okay with that. I can agree with that, but I still think that Philly made this trade because number one, they wanted to get out of Ben Simmons because he's never going to play here again. And number 2, how can I get better? Give me James Harden and we're winning. So James Harden's going to be happy and it's going to be, and that is, I think that's 1,000 times the reasons why they did this.
But the dynamic of your team changes with him on it. So are you still winning? That's that's yet to be seen. They're winning mostly now, but with him on it, it's going to be different. It's going to be a totally different team.
I don't know if it will be totally different. I don't know if it'll be as different as you think. I think Joel Embiid is a big enough personality that either James Harden's going to hate it there and be terrible, but he will not be terrible when he's on the court. When James Harden's on the court, he's still good. And if he's playing on a team that plays really good defense, one guy on the court's not going to kill you there. And he's going to help Joel Embiid carry the load on offense and be as good a distributor as he is. Have a big guy that's going to catch a ball when you throw it to him. Jeez, Pete's.
Yeah, but if it does go south, if he doesn't like how it's going there, honestly, even if they're winning, he's had enough trouble that you almost think, even if they're not winning and he's not happy, or if they are winning and he's not totally happy with his role or the way they play or the way his game fits with that team,
what if he is happy? What if he loves every bit of it?
Then that's great. That's ideal for them.
I'm saying ifs. I mean, I can say. I mean, there's been times where he played a long time in Houston where he loved it
because he was the only guy there.
He was the only guy in Brooklyn right now, and he can't stand that.
He's not the only guy in Brooklyn. Kevin Durant's been hurt for a week or whatever, and Kyrie Irving has missed half the games, but he's not by himself there. And they have other good players on that team too. Their roster's pretty good. So I don't know. And it was totally different, I think, in Houston. I think that was a totally different team than they have in Brooklyn. But he's had trouble getting along with other stars on his team before. And that's why I say, if he's not happy, you said the same thing, but I'm saying if he's not happy and they're winning, there's a chance he could be a little toxic for that team still. And he might still he's still averaging, even though it seems like he hasn't been that great, he's averaging 22, 8, and 10. It's not 32, 8, and 11 like he did 2 or 3 years ago in Houston, but he had trouble with Westbrook. He had trouble with Chris Paul. He's had trouble with playing with a lot of the guys that were also stars. And obviously he was unhappy with the way they were playing, with the offense that they were playing, because he wanted it to be ISO ball from what I've read. So I don't know. And it's going to be a lot of it, I think, is ISO ball with Embiid right now. Now, if Harden expects to also to add his, go to the other side of the floor, spread it out. When they double Embiid, kick it to him. Now he's going one-on-one with whoever's guarding him because they can't double him that quickly. Maybe that works out. Maybe they do get to him and he makes the extra pass or whatever, and Tyrese Maxey knocks down a 3 or whatever. But since Seth Curry's not there anymore, or Tobias Harris, that's right. They still have Tobias Harris too. They have a great roster too. And maybe let me ask you that question. My last thing for this. Does James Harden make them a championship team now?
I think they're a championship team before James Harden. Yeah, I think Philadelphia has been playing out of their minds. They've been the best team in the East for the last month and a half.
Embiid's been the best player. I don't know if they've been the best team.
Are they not number one in the East right now?
No, I don't think so.
Who's number one in the East?
I think it's I was just going to say Chicago, but it's not them anymore.
No, because I was going to say Chicago dropped out of it. I mean, Chicago's been playing great too, started off unbelievable.
Miami, or they're 1 or 2. No, Cleveland's 2. I think Miami, Cleveland.
Wow,
maybe
they're 5th. Man, I was way off. It's Chicago is still number 1. They're a half game above Miami right now. Then Milwaukee, then Cleveland, and then Philly and Boston. Brooklyn's in the playing
the hottest team.
Boston has been hotter than firecracker here lately. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I like to see. I don't know if it does or not. I don't know what it does for him, but I can tell you, I hope to God that Joel Embiid gets his ring, because I like that guy. I know you can't stand his mouth, but I like him.
The other thing about that is why I'm not sure about the championship thing is the Sixers have not been able to break that seal in the playoffs. They haven't been able to get to the Eastern Conference Finals and play well and get to the finals. They always break down in the playoffs, and so has James Harden. So I don't know. Maybe they end up being the best duo in the league. Plus, you have Tobias Harris and Tyrese Maxey and Matisse Thybulle, and they're a really good roster too. But I just don't know. We don't know because there are so many question marks in this because James Harden is involved and because Ben Simmons is involved.
Yeah, because you have two head cases involved. The only way to make it better would be put Kyrie Irving in on the whole thing.
Yeah,
the only way to make it better.
There's another head case. Maybe that's not right.
Maybe head case isn't right. I'm just saying people that have caused issues with teams over the past year. How about that? How about that? Sorry if I offend anybody. Sorry if anybody's offended. If you're causing trouble for your team, then you're probably a head case.
Then you're something. You're not.
And it's not bad to be a head case. You just are. You got a lot of stuff going on in your head.
In that case, if you're causing toxicity on your team, then yeah, you gotta. Ben Simmons was probably the best of the three that we talked about because he just walked away from it. I mean, it caused a problem at first because everybody had to answer questions every day about it. And by the way, Joel Embiid did not hold back. Did you see what he posted on Instagram after the trade?
No.
So there was a post from not that long ago, I guess, that somebody posted, and it became viral or whatever, of a guy at a funeral. It was just a picture of a guy.
Yeah, it's just a random guy. Yeah, I did
dressed in like nice suits or whatever at a funeral. And apparently the backstory of that is that the guy, I don't know if it was that guy or somebody posted that picture and said, went to one of my haters' funerals to make sure he was dead. And he posted that picture.
The guy who's in his suit and he's just mean mugging the camera. Right.
So, which was obviously aimed at Ben Simmons, and then he kind of had fun with it.
He said, I thought he looked really good. You know, he had a nice suit. I thought it was a good picture. It's a nice picture. It had nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
I like that. That was good. I did see that.
That was kind of funny. Anyway, big question marks. We can talk about it all night, but it's not going to matter. We got to see what happens on the floor.
Yep. That's exactly right. All right. So are you done with that? You go with the NBA. Let's go on to the Mount Rushmore states.
Let's do it.
Adam's greatest Mount Rushmore he's ever had, by the way.
I don't know, man.
Mount Rushmore of states. I'm writing down my Ari Shaffir, what I think he did, because that's what we're going to do next.
And we'll have to talk about how we're doing this because it was a two-parter.
I know.
All right. So Mount Rushmore of states. It's that simple. It's exactly what it sounds. The 50 United States of America. Between those, what is your top four?
So easily Hawaii is on there, right? I mean,
can't wait.
I'm pretty sure they're the last one. So, and it's the most beautiful state, all around. The place is just drop dead gorgeous. Best destination to go to. I'm going there. Going with them.
Have you been to Hawaii?
No, no, I've not. I wish. Man, I'm going with Alaska on it as well. We're going to bring these young guns up. They're studs on. There's a reason that they were brought into the fold to begin with. There's a reason they were brought into the fold to begin with. And it's because they're so great as states, even though I don't think either of them are really even connected to anything else, but that's all right. We still take them. We love them. Beautiful scenery. One really hot, one really cold, just gorgeous scenery. By the way, it's so weird. They're right next. Like if you got a map of the United States, they're like right next to each other. But one of them is like such a beautiful, warm place. And the other is like freezing cold all the time and snow. How does that work?
Then they're not anywhere close to each other.
Nowhere. Anywhere close. But it's just funny. You look at a map. I heard somebody made a joke about this once. They were looking at a map and they're always right next to each other on the map because they're out in the Pacific Ocean somewhere. They just stick those two next to each other, even though it's not in their actual place that they are. Yeah. I always like that.
On the map of the United States, you're right.
If you're just looking at a United States map. All right, so we've got Alaska, we've got Hawaii. Now it gets difficult for me from here, okay? Because there's a lot of good states, and I want to be fair to everybody, okay? I've been to the state of Washington, and I'm going to tell you right now, another gorgeous state. Place is beautiful. The scenery is amazing. Beautiful place. I love that. The look of the lay of the land, will you? And that brings us to our last but not least. I'm not going with Ohio. Okay. I thought about Delaware just because it's Delaware.
Hi, I'm in Delaware.
I'm in Delaware. I thought about Florida. I'm going Florida. I'm going with Florida just because once again, you go to the panhandle, the Gulf part of Florida, and it's the most beautiful beaches you could ever go that you can go to close to us.
So you went Hawaii, Alaska, Florida,
In
and
Washington.
Washington State.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
You know what's funny is I was talking to my dad earlier today, and he asked me what our Mount Rushmore was tonight. And I told him, and he's like, "I'm gonna guess Chris's is gonna be Hawaii, Florida." I forget what. I think he said.
Probably South Carolina. We went to Hilton Head for a long time.
Oh yeah. I think he said maybe like New York or
Yeah. I almost said
don't know.
Boston. I almost said Boston, Massachusetts.
Yeah. You know what's funny is in 7th or 8th grade, we must have been in social studies or something. And I don't think we had any idea it was going to happen. Our teacher paired us in groups. I think it was three or four. And each group had to list all 50 states in America in alphabetical order. My group won.
Nice. So how do you lose that?
Just take the first team to do
the first team done.
Yeah.
First team done. I got you.
But I mean, I'll tell you what, you watch any of those man on the street interviews, like on late night shows and stuff.
Love those. They ask 500 people and they just keep the one that's ding dong Superman over there.
But I'll tell you, it's amazing the answers that people give on those things. And it's stuff like that. It's like, what state is Washington, D.C. a part of or something,
They usually ask a real question and then it gets a little there. Or the good one is always, what's your favorite state? And then Boston.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Right. That's my favorite. Where's your favorite state? Cincinnati.
Yeah. Who's the vice president? Benjamin Franklin?
Yeah.
So anyway, okay. So he got half of he predicted half of
nice.
Right.
Well done, Jim Schmidt.
Yeah. Okay. I've got 4. I'm going Ohio. I'm gonna be biased with it.
All right, a little biased, huh? So what makes Ohio stand out above the rest?
Cincinnati's in it.
Cincinnati's in it. Okay, gotcha.
That's all I have for that.
All right.
The rest of the state I don't care about. I'm going New York. I'm gonna sell out here. I'm gonna be.
I've never been to New York City, so I don't know much about New York.
I've been a few times. And pretty recently last July. I would say, and for that reason. So I don't care for the zillions of people there, and there are rats everywhere.
It's also one of the biggest like farming states too.
Yeah. It's a much bigger state than just New York City for sure. And I've heard there are some really, really nice parts of the state that are open and spread out and everything.
When you go up into the Buffalo area and all that, you can kind of get into where isn't if you go to what's the big waterfall that everybody goes to go look at?
Yeah, Niagara Falls.
Isn't that like it's on a New York is on one side and then Canada's on the other side?
Yep. Did that years ago too. Yep. So New York, mostly because of New York City, because the comedy scene for me is a big deal with is a big part of that. There are so many shows and movies and stuff based in New York. Adam Sandler's done a ton of stuff there. A lot of people that I like in entertainment, comedy, and even in sports. Not that I don't like any of the New York teams, but Madison Square Garden is one of the most iconic sports arenas. A lot of good stuff there. I'm doing kind of the same thing for California. Now, I've only been to Los Angeles in California, but you hear great things about San Francisco, about San Diego, that, a lot. And then kind of like New York, there's a massive part of California that's not a big city. It's spread out. It's mountains. It's
you get the wine, the wine country and all that good stuff.
Sure. So for that reason, but for a similar reason, there's, a lot of entertainment is there that, the next best comedy scene in the country is there. It's where almost every movie is made. All that kind of stuff. So and I like some of the sports teams there. They have the most, probably the most sports teams of any state, I would guess. And so for that reason, I'm going there.
Okay.
So I've got 3 of them. I'm going Indiana.
Whoa.
I like Indiana.
All right.
It's our neighbor. We live 20 minutes from 15, 20 minutes from Indiana. You might even be a little closer. And it's just kind of now Indiana is kind of pretty similar to Ohio, honestly, I think, because there's farmland, there's big open, space. And then there's also Indianapolis, kind of like Cincinnati. It's,
Sure.
definitely
Gary, Indiana. There's Gary, Indiana.
Gary, Indiana is probably not the best argument for Indiana, but
I drove through that crap hole of the city.
I've driven
on my
through
way to
many times.
Chicago.
Yeah. It's not great, but the basketball lore in Indiana pulls me in quite a bit.
Sure.
Hoosiers was made about a team from there. And you just feel like you just think of that like farmland with a basketball hoop on the barn.
Yep.
And people shooting on the grass or the dirt or whatever. And sometimes I just like driving over across the Indiana border. They've got a lot of little small towns that are nice to visit, things like that. I don't know, just like a homey feel, but plus the, one of the more higher ranked like basketball states. That's it for me.
I like it. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. That was good. Now I got to come up with something a little better, which is going to be almost impossible, because that might be our best Mount Rushmore we've ever done.
Really?
It was good. I thought it was good.
You're joking, right?
No, I enjoyed it.
Okay.
All right. That brings us to Ari Shaffir. Ari Shaffir is, so I didn't know this was a 2-part special when we did it. In fact, when I pulled it up on Netflix, I was like, what? It's got like a cartoon children thing under. What is going on? I clicked out of it and came back into it thinking that I clicked on something wrong and they just screwed up the pictures. Nope. Definitely a 2-parter. Did you watch both? I guess I should ask first. Okay, good.
Watch both. Double Negative is what it was called.
Double Negative.
But then there was
so
like
basically he hates adults and he hates children is basically the double negative. Not to mention what Biggie Small's teacher told him.
Yeah.
So I guess first off, which one did you like better? The first one or the second one?
I think I probably laughed more on the second one, the adulthood one.
I laughed more at the first one.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay. Both were pretty good,
yeah.
I thought.
Yeah, they were good. It wasn't as outlandish, I think, as you probably thought it was going to be.
Yeah. No, I guess not. I mean, he made plenty of jokes that, especially now, this was from 2017, I think.
Yeah.
Especially now, people are, depending on where he's doing those jokes, people are walking out, people are heckling him.
Yeah,
he doesn't care. But it's that's happening. 2017. It was dicey to make those jokes. 2022, boy, people are real bent out of shape about that stuff.
Yeah.
But go to a comedy show.
There's a whole lot of it.
You have to know that that might happen. So anyway, I thought both were funny. I don't mean to just go first.
I want you to go first.
Children, the first one was good. It was almost all about children. He talked about not wanting kids. He talked about his friends' kids, his siblings' kids.
His brother brought his kid to Germany for Oktoberfest.
To Oktoberfest.
So
that was the one thing I wrote down about that one, actually.
That was good.
Yeah. I'm not at his kindergarten. He's at my beer festival.
Yeah. I'm not at his kindergarten. I'm at his beer. He's at my beer festival. He's illiterate. I don't want to be around illiterate people right now.
Yeah. His I plan on getting really drunk and his tolerance is going to be very good.
I'm questioning his tolerance right now.
Yeah. And he's like, what? Are you kidding me? Or something like that. As soon as he got out of the car, he's like, what? You didn't want me to bring him? It's like, no, yeah, you read my
tone correctly. Yes, you read my tone correctly.
And he's like, well, you should have told me. You should have told me you didn't want me to bring him. I didn't have to tell you not to bring
Anthrax. You just knew not to bring anthrax. That was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
Anyway, yeah, there was a lot of pretty funny stuff there. So that was good. Now here's my question. Do you want to rate these each, or do you want to try to do
let's just do one big one.
One big one.
Yeah, I kind of feel it's about an hour and a half total, right? They're both about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Let's just do that because that's how I rated it. I don't know how to rate both.
Okay.
I can do them individually.
I'd be interested to hear your individual ones. It is harder, but I didn't even write mine down. I think I just have it in my head.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So that was children. Adulthood was funny. He talked, he does a lot of drugs and he talks about it a lot. And he touched on a lot of stuff there. The big thing was his gay friend, and he started that whole thing.
So funny, dude.
He started that whole thing with, I found out, you're not gonna like this, but I found out I'm homophobic. And then went into a long story.
The lady boys and all kinds of stuff. I'm telling you right now. I think that's why I like. No, did I say I like children more?
Yeah.
I don't know. I liked them both. I thought they're both good.
The whole Kit Kat analogy.
Oh my gosh. He said to start thinking. He's like, hold on a second. Oh my gosh. Am I really? I don't want to be homophobic. Am I? Yes. I do like a good one of those.
Yeah.
But no, I don't want it from you. I've got this. I've got the Kit Kat. You want the Kit Kat? Here's the Kit Kat.
He had basically two stories about why he's homophobic. And when you watch it, and you should watch it, when you watch it, you'll understand that he's not really. It's just part of it.
It's part of the bit, which is super funny.
Yeah. A lot of good stuff in that one too.
I'm gonna give it a go. I'm in Thailand. There's not a lot of really well speaking English people here. There's really no Facebook presence. I'm gonna get me a lady boy. What's wrong? What's wrong? You don't like me? No, you're smoking hot.
Oh my gosh.
Industrial strength jock straps to keep their junk tucked. That was pretty good. I thought that was funny.
There's a lot of both of these parts of his special that I don't want to repeat on this podcast, but anyway.
How many times did he say my friend got pregnant on Tinder?
Oh yeah, Tinder.
My friend got pregnant on Tinder.
Yeah.
I think. Oh my God.
His grandma asked, "What's a Tinder?"
What's a Tinder? Well, grandma,
it's not
explain to a 90-year-old. Yeah, there was this man, Steve Jobs.
All right, so I'm gonna give children, double negative children, a 3.7. And I'm giving adulthood a 3.9.
Wow, 3.9. Nice. I gave them both 3.8.
That averages out to 3.8.
Yeah, I didn't when you said to redo them, I just took my 3.8 and scratched it out and read 3.8 twice.
Oh man. Okay, we were right on the same.
Dude, I'm telling you, that was good. I thought it was really good. I don't know that I've ever seen it. Oh, did I unplug you?
It was never plugged in. I didn't plug it in.
Oh, that's all right.
All right, we've still got the.
Yeah. So I just no, I never. I thought it was good. I liked it. It was funny, dude. This dude's funny. He's a funny guy.
He's funny.
I would 100% suggest anybody to watch this.
Yeah. So there it is.
This is not a thin-skinned guy though. Like you got to have thick. Don't be all butthurt when you hear all the stuff he has to say because he's gonna hurt your feelings. He's like. In that one, everybody's quiet, and he's like, "Oh, next 7 minutes is not going to be good."
Yeah. Okay, so I mean that pretty much does it for us for this week, right?
Yep.
We've got to pick a Mount Rushmore for next week and a comedy special. So I believe I have a comedy special.
Yep.
You have a Mount Rushmore.
You got quite a few comedy specials in the bag, I believe, right?
Just added
There's just a new one. Yeah.
Just added another one.
Yeah, you did.
You know what? Then
She's going to be good.
we'll just do that one for this week then. Ali Wong on right?
Yep.
On Netflix. I think it's called Don Wong, which I'm guessing I'm pretty sure that's what it's called.
I don't know. I didn't see what it was called. I just saw a little snippet of it, and she is funny.
Yeah, Ali Wong.
But the funny thing is the first joke that's on the little trailer. I've heard people say this. I've heard comedians talk about it many times. Did you listen to the little preview
I did see the trailer. I'm trying to remember.
I don't know if it was the trailer, but when you like go to Netflix and they just show a little part of it, it's about the whole thing. Like, how come if you're a successful male comedian, you get to date models and things like that? And then he said, she's like, my friend is probably the greatest female comedian out there, and she's dating a magician.
Yeah. There is a real hate thing with comedians and magicians for some reason. But anyway, yep, that was I'm excited about this. I just saw yesterday that it was on there, so it must have just come out.
My head had just come out because I just saw it yesterday too.
Yeah. So all right, I'm pretty sure it's called Don Wong. Wong. I don't know if that's her dad or her husband or what, but it's not her husband because I think she kept her original name. Anyway,
Adam, Netflix. I have a question for you. Yeah. She just had a kid, not that she did a special when she was pregnant too. Was that last year or 2 years ago? She just came out with one.
At least 2 years ago.
Yeah. Adam, I got a question for you, bud.
Yes, sir.
When you go to a gas station, and let's say, unlike gas stations now, there's actually a full drink selection.
Okay, I like where this is headed.
And you go to pick a water out.
Sure.
Do you look for a specific water when you're picking them out? Or do you just kind of walk in, just go, where's the cheapest? What is okay? 69 cents. I'll take that one.
I do not do that. Yeah, no. I do.
So you're a
for specific waters.
Yes. All right. Then that clarifies what we're doing. We're doing the Mount Rushmore of bottled water.
Okay. Okay. There aren't 4 good ones, but yep, we'll do it.
My wife, I'm going to go ahead and say this right now. I can't taste the difference in water most of the time. I don't know how you people can do this. It's pretty amazing to me. I do still like go in and I get a certain water. When I go, we've kind of talked about this maybe before, but I go and I get a certain water that I try to, if it's there, I'll get that.
Do you want to tell me what it is, or is that
it'll be one of the ones for next week. But what I'm going to tell you here is, so if I go in and like I just go into the gas station and she's like, "Oh, just give me a water," and I come out with anything that says spring water on it, it's like it's going to make her throw up. Like, you should see the face I get. But it's water, right? Like, it's water. It's water. And if I would have brought you out another water, if I took spring water and poured it inside whatever your favorite water is, and you say, "Oh, I can't drink spring water," the taste, you would never know.
There's a difference in taste. I'm telling you.
I love it. I'm so excited about this.
I'll tell you what my anti Mount Rushmore of water is.
That's even better. Is it all spring water or all the little?
It might be. I don't even know the difference, honestly, but I just know when a water tastes like garbage and when a water is a better water. And I'm telling you, there are like the real high end waters and sparkling waters and all that stuff. Yeah, I've had some of that stuff, but I don't normally go for that level.
Yeah.
But there's on the poor people level, I'm telling you, there are ones that are really bad and ones that are not as bad.
All right. I like it. I'm so excited. This is so great. I can't wait to have people listen to us talk about
but here's
what water's better than other water.
But if you can't taste the difference, how are you going to pick?
I still have the ones that I go for. When I walk in there, depending on where I go to, I just, listen, I am not picky when it comes to water. I'll drink any kind of water. I do not care. But there are certain waters that if it's there, I'll choose that first.
It's funny. I have one specific water that I think is the worst one. I'm interested to see if it's going to be on your Mount Rushmore.
I hope to God it's on my Mount Rushmore.
Can't wait.
All right. So that's all that. So we've got Ali Wong. Is it Ali? Ali Wong in the Mount Rushmore of water. And God knows what other kind of sports we're going to have, because the Super Bowl's over and they officially have shortened spring training. So who knows what else we're going to talk about on this podcast? Probably basketball.
We'll have the All-Star game.
That's right.
Over the weekend. So
yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
All right. So until then, don't forget to turn your headlights on.